Okay, my thermostat switch arrived today. And what this thermostat switch is supposed to do is turn on the fan when the temperature gets to a certain level in the radiator. This switch is supposed to turn the fan on at 80 degrees Celsius, which is roughly 200 degrees Fahrenheit. So what I've seen done before is I've seen this sensor mounted to the base of the radiator here and JB welded directly to the radiator. That's okay, but I'd rather not have this sensor JB welded to the radiator with a giant mess of JB weld. So instead I thought, well, why not create a steel bracket to mount the thermostat switch to the base of the radiator. It turns out I thought the radiator was aluminum, so I couldn't weld directly to the radiator itself, but the brackets surrounding the radiator are steel. So if I welded this small steel bracket to the radiator, maybe I'd have a nice mounting point for this thermostat switch to get the correct temperature, turn on and off, and have a nice clean installation on the bottom of the radiator. At the time, this theory seemed pretty sound. At the base of the radiator was a nice flat spot to weld the bracket to, which I thought with a little bit of weld, the bracket could have provided enough transfer of heat to the sensor and been stable enough for a nice clean installation. However, what I quickly learned was that the bracket with the weld just couldn't quite stay attached to the radiator. So unfortunately, I decided to remove the bracket and find a plan B. Okay, so welding didn't work, so I've got a plan B before I jump down to JB Weld. I'm going to use this quick steel to make a mount for the sensor on the radiator and see if that does a little bit better job for me. If you've never used quick steel, it's very durable to high temperatures. It's basically like a little putty that you squeeze and make into a little shape and stick the sensor in the center is probably what I'm going to do, and see how this works out. Okay, a little bit of time has passed since that last shot. What happened was while I was filling up the radiator, I noticed a small leak coming from right here on the thermostat tube. So with further investigation, what I found was that one of these little O-rings was pinched. So unfortunately, I had to stop the video, order one of these O-rings. Now I've got it all put back together. I've got it full of coolant, so the bike should be good to go. So the system at this point is sealed. It is full of coolant. It has this new electric fan installation with an electric fan driven by a relay circuit, which is turned on by a thermostat switch, which is supposed to turn on just as the bike reaches its optimum operating temperature. Tonight's ride, I should mention it's evening, so it's a little bit cooler than it was when I was noticing the overheating issues. It's about 80 degrees this evening. It's mid-September. What I'm expecting to have happen is that the bike will reach operating temperature, creep slightly above operating temperature. We'll call operating temperature the middle of the gauge. So I'm expecting it will probably reach about a 2/3 mark. The fan will kick on. So the fan should continue to run until the temperature gauge reaches just below half, then it will turn off and continue to cycle as long as it's needed. Now what I'm suspecting will happen is that when the bike's in motion, the fan will probably shut off quicker because the motion of the bike will cool down the radiator quicker. But we probably would see cycling during long periods of sitting still. Okay, just got back. The bike, rode it for about an hour. The fan cycled, oh geez, 2 or 3 times. So let's see if it's actually still running. I just turned it off. When I arrived back here, it was about to the middle, so it's cooled off just slightly. So this fan turns on just past, I want to say just where it's just towards the middle of the M in temp. So the fan turns on in the middle of the M at temp, and then it turns off actually right about where the needle is right now. So I'm pretty happy with it. Turned out great. Never felt like it was overheating. The fan wasn't too loud. And I think that's a wrap. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.